Pierce, why don't you start us off since you're the guest?
Okay, what do I say?
Something like welcome to Almost Adults and hope you have a good day or something like that.
All right, cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Almost Adults. My name is Gage Agnew, and I just took the biggest shit of my life. Wowie.
Oh, my friend Gage is gonna talk to you. Oh, and Jean-Claude, he'll be there, too. Even though they're not close together, they're far away. One's in Tampa, the other one's in LA. Oh, Gage, what's the show called again?
Fucking, it's Almost Adults. Shit.
Almost adult. Shit.
Wow.
Jeez, that is Gage. Your voice has dropped just a little bit.
I dropped an octave,
probably
man.
because you just dropped off all that poop.
Yeah, that poop was getting high-pitched. It was sprouting to my vocal cords.
Oh, your voice is back to normal. Okay, never
Oh,
mind. Wasn't
yeah,
the poop.
well, I guess I gotta go again. Anyways,
So, yes, welcome to Almost Adults. We have Gage's fantastic brother here, who is doing an amazing impersonation of his brother.
Well, I just want to get it clear right away that it might be sounding alike, but hello, everybody. I'm Pierce.
hey, Pierce.
I think there's going to be enough of a distinction between your voices, so that's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's fine, but I've been listening to it for a while. Oh, I want to clarify something. In our fourth podcast with Vinny, I said Pierce was moving to California and not becoming a manager. He is for sure becoming a manager.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually
Nice.
It was actually the first of the Almost Adult podcasts I listened to, and I was already like, it's full of lies. They don't understand. I guess I
don't
should
know
give
what
a
I'm
little
doing.
background on myself.
Sure.
I'm actually moving out to San Bernardino, California, the next couple weeks to start a real adult job working for Amazon, where I'm going to be an area manager. So it's pretty exciting. I'm moving completely across the country. So it's a very adult or almost adult experience.
That is extremely almost adulty.
I would say full-on adult, if I dare say.
So I'm curious, how did you become affiliated with Amazon to the point where they wanted to hire you as a manager, I guess?
Yes. Well, I was actually just last year working for my MBA. So they came to FSU where I went to school and recruiting, and I really liked what they were saying. So we had this like corporate networking night with them, and everyone was dressed up, these like employers and the potential employees were all dressed up in our best suits and such. So I'm like, all right, gotta go find the Amazon people. I want to talk to them. And I look around and I see that they're just all standing around in like polos and khakis. And I was like, that's a company I want to work for. So I talked to them, I applied online, and they flew me out to Knoxville, Tennessee, where I had a job interview with them. Very amazing. Drove the fastest car ever, the Volkswagen Jetta.
Yes, that's the car that I drive, and it's damn fast.
Wow, I understand why every Fast and Furious movie is based on the Volkswagen Jetta.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic right now, but I love my car.
Dude, I had a ball in that car because I got in to Knoxville at like 1 a.m. So there was no one on the road. I got a rental Jetta and had no obligations to anybody. So I was speeding down the freeway and I loved it.
This episode is brought to you by Volkswagen.
Oh yeah, Volkswagen, drive your car at super fast speeds. Yeah, you can splice that in.
You racist.
No, Volkswagen is a German brand, so there's nothing racist about that.
Yeah, but Jettas are made in Prague.
Are they?
Probably. Maybe. I just made that up.
I know literally nothing about cars other than the fact that I drive a manual Volkswagen. I know there are automatic Volkswagens, about the extent of my car knowledge.
The only car knowledge I know is my car gets me from point A to point B, and sometimes the CD player works.
And sometimes the car breaks down and your dad has to give you a plane ticket so you can get to California.
That is true. That is true. Pierce is going cross country with my dad too, so haha, good luck with that.
Please refer back to episode 2.
It's very interesting because me and my father are actually making cross country in the same car Gage has, but 2 years older. Very excited.
That is super exciting. Speaking of cars and like car knowledge, I tried to replace my headlights the other day because if you reference back to episode 2, we spoke about how my headlights have been out for about 6 months now and I've done nothing to try to repair it. It reached the point where for the first part, for 6 months, only one of my headlights was out, so I was able to manage. Then both of them went out and it was unbearable.
Oh dear.
And illegal.
Very, very illegal.
But the more unbearable part is where we're going to concentrate on.
Exactly. So the unbearable part was the fact that I'd have have to pay money for people to repair it myself, or to repair it.
I just imagine Jean-Claude getting pulled over by the police, and the police is like, your headlights are out, and he's like, ugh, I know, such a burden.
I know, it's gonna be a whole $50 just to get someone to replace. Oh yeah, sure, I know exactly what you're saying. That's why I replaced my headlights myself.
Have a good day, sir.
So afterwards, Jean-Claude is just like taping flashlights to the front of his car. This will work. This will be fine.
Which, okay, funny enough that you say that.
What? Wait, really?
Not flashlights, but I went on Amazon.com.
Ooh, shameless plug.
And purchased. Actually, Amazon is great in terms of purchasing any car parts because at the top of the page, wherever you're trying to purchase a part, it will allow you to input your car model and make, and it will inform you on whether or not this part that you're purchasing is compatible with your model.
Oh, that's really helpful.
It is really
AutoZone
helpful.
actually has the same thing too.
Well, Amazon had Prime, so I was like, I'm not gonna go through AutoZone. Anyway, so I purchased new headlights, and I go to repair them myself, and I get my buddy Alex to work with me, and we're trying to repair the headlights, and we open up the hood, we get back there, we start fiddling around, we get out the other set of lights, and they're held in by these metal pins or something like that. And when we unclip them, it's practically impossible to clip them back in, and those are the only things that are keeping the headlights from like jiggling out of the socket. So since we can't put these metal pins back in, we end up taking tape and just taping these headlights inside my car, which at this point, it's probably from the heat of my car has melted the tape.
No.
Worst part is, by the time we finish and we've taped it up and we've like blown our brains out trying to get this all working, turns out we replaced the wrong headlights.
Oh.
You put the high beam one in.
Yeah, we replaced the high beams, not the ones I needed.
Oh, no.
And the ones I needed, all you had to do was like unscrew them, pop them out, put in the new ones, and screw them back in. And it was super simple. It was the high beams that were a bitch. So we untaped everything, replaced the right ones.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I actually had to do that for one of my headlights. I'm not as brave as you. I had one headlight out and I was freaking out because I was like, I was driving a bunch of drunk people to a bar.
Oh, damn.
And the whole time I'm like, man, I don't want the cops to get me,
Oh yeah, if you get pulled over and they'll obviously assume that you have been drinking as well. Plus a headlight out, yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, so I was freaking the hell out. I don't know how you managed with both headlights out.
I used my high beams.
Daredevil son of a bitch.
It was super dark, and then whenever I was like, there might be a person around here that I could possibly hit, I turned on my high beams and cleared the area and then turned it back out, and it was pitch black. So yeah, I actually risked Kat's life in my car when that was happening.
What?
Yeah, she was in my car when like the second headlight went out and it was just pitch black.
Oh, no. Poor cat.
Yeah, she'll probably never forgive me for that. Anyways, so that's my car story to start off the episode.
The first time I got pulled over, I was driving back home from work, and I started flashing my head beams because I was so tired, and I'm like, I just need to get up. So I was just flashing the head beams going, bap, 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 da, bap, da. And the cop pulled me over. He's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I was doing it to the beat of the song. And he's like, okay, how about don't be an idiot? And,
shit.
He didn't say that, but that was the gist of it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, well, that's a good idea, sir. And then I didn't get a ticket, and I got off easy.
And then you found $20.
Every story ends like that.
Every pointless story. I've been noticing I've been doing a lot more pointless stories on these podcasts.
No.
Because I don't have actually real stories with morals.
Just pump it up with more flair. Use some hyperbole in those stories. Maybe like tell him he pulled out his gun and he was just like, sir, stop flashing those lights.
He shot me through the throat. That's why I sound like this. That's why my voice is all messed up.
Yeah, I think you should just use the Animaniacs like Wheel of Morality and just pick just a random and that's why you always write a note.
Oh, yes.
Just end it like that. Perfect.
Beautiful. Yeah, we should do that more often. We should get a wheel
A
in here.
wheel
A Wheel of Morality.
In this recording booth that we're all three of us are in.
Yes,
Totally.
yes. It's kind of cramped in here.
It's actually a porta potty for
Yeah, it
those
smells like
not
poop.
watching the anime.
Wait, guys. In the toilet bowl, I found a wheel. Should I spin it?
Yeah, go for it. Nice.
It says don't talk to strangers and don't touch naughty bits.
Always wash your hands.
And oh yeah, that's a footnote. Good catch, Jean-Claude.
It was
Thanks.
covered with some brown stuff. It's hard to see. Wipe it off.
Beautiful. So, we have topics today. You've picked out the topics you and your brother have.
Yeah, I texted you the topics. Why don't you start off?
I'm sorry? You texted me the topics, and why don't I start off? Let me just pull these up on my
no,
phone
I'm
here.
I'm kidding.
Okay,
Obviously, I'm going to start it off. Come on, let's not beat around the bush here.
please.
So, Pierce,
Hi. Hey, what's up?
you've had a few roommates in your life.
Yes, I have.
One of them being me for about 17 years.
Yeah, just about.
And I was curious what your invisible checklist was for roommate etiquette.
That has to be probably one of the worst things when you start off in college, is you suddenly realize that no one knows how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I had a roommate, I actually lived with him for like 3 years. The kid did not understand what a laundry machine was,
Oh no.
what a dishwasher was, did not understand that he had to keep his mess in his room, and it literally slept on like Hurricane Katrina style mattress and then just clothes on top and then just a blanket. It was absolutely disgusting.
Oh, that's awful.
Remember, this guy lived with us. He's from the same town, Niceville. And we were at his house one night, and we just took everything out of his room, and it was so much cleaner, and his mother actually appreciated it. And this guy got really, really mad, and he's like, guys, I had a stack of $20 somewhere in this mess, and I had it all organized before you guys took everything out of my room.
It should be noted that in this room he had like half a drum kit. Not like the full drum kit, just like half scattered around the room.
Oh.
It took us about 20 minutes until we actually were able to see like more than a square foot of the floor at a time. And I think we flipped his bed and his mattress was on upside down or something. It was,
Oh, shit.
It was really interesting when he was telling us he was missing all this stuff that just magically he knew where it was.
I had $200 here. I know one of you took it. I expect you guys to pay me back in full after cleaning my room.
Oh yeah, he also said his mother was super mad, and we're like, she helped us move the stuff out of your room.
It's for the ladies, so you know, it brings them in. They're like, ooh, what are they gonna talk about?
Yeah, all we
Oh, my
have are
God.
just like male sweaty listeners that just sit in their basements going like, I want to watch the new podcast coming out. Actually, I have no idea who listens to this.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
we should figure out our demographic and then pitch it more to them. If we learned anything from listening to Sabrina, it's finding a demographic to pitch to.
Well,
But
speaking of sweaty men, Jean-Claude, do you have any roommates?
currently, my only roommate is my mother, and she's perfectly fine.
She's all right.
She got her
no
shit
complaints
together.
there.
She listens to the podcast. That's what you're saying. That's what I'm
Exactly. Yeah. She's a sweaty male. My first experience of ever having sort of roommate, it wasn't an actual roommate, it was my friend in middle school, and I got like a taste of what it would be like to live with someone. It was one of those experiences where you stay over at your friend's house for a whole weekend.
And you like really see how they live.
Exactly. And I kid you not, by the end of this weekend, I had multiple bites from like fleas and stuff like that
Oh,
on
I
my
thought
arm.
you were going to say by him.
Oh, no.
He bites people, man.
The worst roommate, the ones that bite.
Gotta
I
spray him
would
and go,
prefer his bite than flea bites, because I'm pretty sure like a human bite wouldn't itch so bad. But yeah, I had like flea bites, because he would just let his dog up on his, like this big dog up on his bed. I don't know. I like animals, but
Not that
if they don't
close.
have boundaries and they're up on everything, that's when I'm just like, I don't know. Because then there's dog fur literally everywhere, and I don't know. I was never raised with dogs, so it wasn't my MO. Anyways, so that was kind of disgusting. His whole room was just a fuck fest. So anyways, so then I moved to college. My first roommate there was great. Everyone always has their little tiffs with their roommates, but for the most part, he was pretty enjoyable to live with. My only qualm with it was I can be pretty passive in terms of being a roommate. So if we ever have any, if they're territorial and they're going to be out living room using the TV all the time, I'm just going to confine myself to my bedroom for the most part.
Right.
And so that's what it ended up happening. Like he would always be out. Like his room was kind of a mess. And so he didn't really stay in his room too often. So he kind of just chilled out in the living room. He fell asleep at night on the couch, and then he woke up at like 3 a.m. to go to his bedroom. So I ended up just being confined to my room a little bit.
Wait, real quick. Did he fall asleep on the couch with like the TV on?
Yeah.
My roommate did the exact same thing. I would wake up and have to get out there to turn off the office at 3 a.m.
Yep.
Which is great because then the next morning I'd be like, hey, you need to turn off the TV. And you'd go, oh, I had it on a timer. It was going to turn off. Don't worry about it. Which I didn't even know was possible. It was my own damn TV that he was using.
Oh, shit.
So
On Netflix, there's like a certain timer. If you watch a certain episode and you're not active, they're like, are you still here? And then it just shuts off.
true, but that doesn't turn off the entire TV. That just shuts off the Netflix.
Yeah.
Huh.
Jean-Claude, I thought it was interesting that you noted that you're very passive with your roommate. Like, there's kind of a step-by-step process with your roommate relations. You start off really passive because you don't want to offend them, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's just how they live. And then you get to the passive-aggressive stage of, like, hinting, wow, it's sure getting cluttered in here. Oh, man,
yeah.
we got a lot of dishes.
One of my roommates left actually a note saying like, I had to clean up the dishes yourself. Please someone do the dishes. And then later in that year, he took all his pots and pans and just put them in his room. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm not letting anyone use these.
That's the third stage, which is the blatant aggression, which is possibly, if you're on the giving end and not the receiving end, the best roommate relationship. Because
Yeah, when you're just like the territorial master.
you just go in there, You just yell, "Bitch nugget, go
Yeah.
clean the dishes."
Mm-hmm.
That's when you really peaked and roommate-shipped.
Roommate ship.
The thing was that he was like a year or two farther in undergrad. We knew each other in high school, and he was 2 years older than me. So when I moved to FSU, I just moved in with him because he was the only person I really knew there. And so he had already had the roommate experience before, so he was already in a higher seat of power than me. So
So he had the home advantage, is what you're saying.
Home
yeah,
field
he was
advantage.
the bitch nugget giver.
Have I met you at FSU? Because I feel like I might have met you once.
Maybe.
Maybe?
I feel like it was very brief. I think it was at the Kronos premiere, maybe, if you were there.
You know what? I was there for like the first part, and I had to leave for something or other.
Oh yeah, you left. You're like, my frat's having a party.
I got wasted that night.
If we met at any point in undergrad, it was on very brief terms. I want to say that I met you at one point because I walked up to you because one of my friends whom I made out with said that they made out with you at one point.
Wait, was it Dana?
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember meeting you.
Yeah, and I walked up to you and I was just like, yo, dude, we made out with the same person.
No, and then you dated, who was her friend? Megan?
Megan.
Megan. Didn't you date Megan?
Yeah. That's who I came up to you and was like, yeah.
We made out with like two girls of the same person at different times.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure that's like the first thing I ever said to you.
I'm pretty sure too. She's getting engaged, which is crazy.
She is. She's getting engaged.
Not too Gage.
Yeah, so Gage, how about you? What about your roommate stories?
Well, I already squandered the best one about the guy just taking all the pots and pans and refusing to let us cook.
Who was that? You can bleep it out with another fuckface.
Okay, so Taint Liquor was very passive aggressive, and I'm like, hey, where are all the pots and pans? He's like, oh yeah, I'm not letting anyone use them anymore. And then my other roommate, who I ended up rooming for another year, we'll call him Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum was like, hey, I'm really mad about this. And I'm like, we're not going to have any conflict when we move with each other the second year. And then the second year, we had a little more conflict because we worked together on the Kronos project. And I wanted not... He's a very nice guy, but I don't think we work well together.
I see.
And that's the worst part, is you really don't know who the real person is you're kind of rooming with until you actually room with them. Because they can be fantastic people outside of actually living with them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
it ends up working out better if you're not friends with the person you're living with and they're just a complete stranger. Like there's the tension between you two, like you both don't want to offend the other person, so you end up just being really
Passive.
kind to each other.
Yeah. It's kind of like almost a standoff of, I don't want to offend you, and you probably don't want to offend me.
Yeah, so then you end up having that like first roommate meeting where you're just like, can we just get everything out in the open, like rules and just like things that we want to set, ground rules?
And it never all gets out in the open.
Well, you gotta save one for just a midway through the lease breakdown where you yell at them because you're allergic to Jell-O, and for some reason they put it all over the couch.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a roommate breakdown like that? Jean-Claude, you sort of talked about a roommate breakdown in a previous podcast. Listen back to episode 2.
This whole episode is just for episode 2 promotion, it seems.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't
That
even
episode had a
listen
lot
to
of
this
highlights.
without knowing what's going on in episode 2.
That's how we get them to listen to all of our episodes. So I don't really have another roommate breakdown other than that one, but I do have a great roommate story in terms of just like things that should have caused me to break down or things that should have crossed the line but ended up just being okay and a hilarious story. So other than Carlos, my last roommate in undergrad was the boss from Ocarina of Time. I'm just going to refer to him as the boss from Ocarina of Time. So we were having a party.
Ocarina, fine.
Oh, Ocarina, fine. Anyways, we were having a party. He got really, really drunk because he was drinking earlier that night. And then when the party started, he drank even more. Ends up around like halfway through the party, ends up passing out on the couch. And my ex, she was walking around. Carlos was just kind of chilling on the couch. And the boss from Ocarina, fine, wakes up from his slumber.
Awakens from his vast, deep slumber.
Like a Rip Van Winkle Snorlax combination.
Exactly. Walks over to the TV where I have my N64, my PS3, my PS2, pretty much all my gaming systems, and just our entertainment kind of kiosk. And we're all just like, dude, what's he doing? Is he sleepwalking? What's going on? I'm not watching this, but Carlos apparently is. And the boss from Ocarina, fine, and he just whips out his dick. He just starts peeing all over everything. The TV, the game systems, just pees over it all. Carlos does nothing to stop this. He just starts laughing hysterically in his Carlos fashion.
That sounds like Carlos.
Oh.
I think the boss from Kakarina, fine, saunters off to his room afterwards, just like go back to sleep, and just leaves this piss-covered entertainment system. It was ridiculous. It ended up being like these strangers that ended up coming to our party became like the nicest people ever. I didn't even know them, and yet they started just cleaning up his piss and the entertainment system. They're like, don't get mad, man. You know, everything is okay. We'll take care of it. I don't know why they did that, but they did, and it was fine.
Were they his friends?
No, they weren't his friends. I think they were Sabrina's friends.
Oh, okay.
It was some guy that she
Listen back to
invited.
episode 8 with Sabrina.
Yeah, some dude that knew Japanese or something like that, and he was just like, don't worry, I can clean this, and then someone else cleaned it, and I don't know, it was crazy.
Wow, Sabrina knows the nicest guys and gals around.
Yeah, some of the people that she's dated have been pretty nice.
It might just be she hangs out with like just people who love to clean. That they kind of like, yes, this
Yes.
party's getting great now.
Finally!
Finally, something I can do.
Pulls out the Windex from their pocket. They got one of those pocket Windexes. They only
Dude.
sell it in like 3 states.
Oh, God. That's like their way of like getting people to drop their panties. They just clean so well.
My older roommate thought I was a good rapper, Jeff Goldblum. I got really drunk one night and then just started quoting Starbomb. And then I woke up the next morning perfectly fine. And he's like, you're a really good rapper, Gage. And I'm like, shut up. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And then we
Damn.
got in a fight about rapping.
No. Oh, no. A
Was
rap
it-
battle, if I may.
Oh, dang it, you bit like 2 seconds, man. You
Yeah.
bit 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, that was my crazy story. It worked out. I don't know where he is right now. I think he's still in Tally, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, he was fine. He let us borrow his copy of Mario Party.
He did.
That's usually a solid.
Or maybe it's like very devious because Mario Party breaks up friendships.
He's trying to fuck us over.
Yeah,
Like some
exactly.
Game of Thrones plot where he's like, all right, I'm gonna give him the Mario Party, but like have him have an unfair advantage to split them apart.
Give them the first Mario Party so they get blisters on their palms.
So that I can get all the pots and pans.
Son of a bitch.
It all connects.
It's all connected.
The Teflon throne.
Womp.
Oh, another thing that was sort of weird was my older roommate was dating this one girl when he moved in, and this one girl just kind of hung around the apartment. Then they just like broke up one morning, and I woke up, I'm like, what? Why is this girl's stuff just everywhere? And he's like, she's moving out. And I'm like, oh.
Ooh.
But I bought him cookies to make up for
And
it.
speaking of moving out.
No, hang on, I'm not finished with my
Okay,
story.
keep your story.
John,
Keep your story. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And eventually she left for a while. And then my other roommate, Jeff Goldblum, was like, hey, you know that girl whose stuff was thrown out one morning? I'm dating her now.
What?
And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, she's going to be around our new house. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm used to her, I guess.
Wait, it was a different friend or the same guy you started dating her again?
No, it was my first roommate. We'll call him Colin Farrell.
I thought we
Okay.
called him Taint Liquor.
Yeah,
No.
Taint Liquor.
Taint Liquor, Colin Farrell, and Jeff Goldblum all lived in the same house with me.
For those animators out there, can you please just make this happen? The Taint Liquor, Gage Agnew, Colin Firth, and Jeff Goldblum household. I need pictures and or cartoon shenanigans.
Fan art.
Ooh, yeah, post it on our Reddit or something like that if we have one.
No, you're not gonna get that lucky. It's gonna go on DeviantArt.
Oh, God.
It's gonna go on
That's
our
fine,
cringe.
too.
That's why they're all gonna be foxes. So
Yeah, I was just going to say they're all going to be furries.
Why do you even
That's
ask
okay.
this request in the first place?
because
Because he knew what he was going to get out of it.
Oh no, it's been an elaborate ruse.
it's been my Game of Thrones scheme all along.
And Pierce just pulls out a pen and he's like, mine now.
Oh God.
He's secretly the one making it.
Okay, so let me just clear this up. Colin Farrell was dating this girl, and then they broke up, and then Jeff Goldblum swooped in the next year and started dating this girl.
Did they know each other?
They knew each other because Colin Farrell was dating this girl, and this girl was like practically living with us the entire time. And Jeff Goldblum is just sitting in the corner going,
I bide my time.
Oh, God, that's fucked up.
yes, that is just nature's way of evolving.
Guess. Still kind of fucked up, though.
Nature finds a way, and so will I.
Nature finds way, although I am not nature.
For those of you who decided to tune in like 20, 30 minutes into the podcast, this actually isn't Jeff Goldblum.
Ooh.
I've heard he's a very nice guy. Jeff Goldblum is just a code name.
Well, we just lost all of our listener base that would have thought it was Jeff Goldblum doing all this crazy shenanigans. So now those people are gone.
Jeff Goldblum, Colin Farrell, Taint Liquor.
So we've determined through this podcast that your viewing is Jean-Claude's mom, sweaty men, and fans of Jeff Goldblum.
Yes,
We got a pretty big audience.
The demographics right there is what you're aiming for.
I think so. I think we should really push hard next episode on the Jeff Goldblum angle.
Like next episode's topic is going to be 60 minutes of your favorite Jeff Goldblum movie and why
Why don't we just bring Jeff Goldblum on? That would be easier.
Yes, Jeff Goldblum.
That would be so much easier. Why didn't we think of that?
We have such a big Jeff Goldblum following. Jeff Goldblum, we need you to come on.
I would love for Jeff Goldblum to come on. I think he would be a riot.
The shameless plug at that point would be, apartments.com? Is that where he's doing?
Yeah, he's doing apartments.com, and he's like, well, let me just sing the Jeffersons theme song for a second.
Oh, hey, that's actually a perfect segue, because our next topic is moving to new places.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that was so natural.
You can start us off by talking about your prospective move to wherever you said you were moving in California.
San Bernardino.
San
Yes.
Bernardino.
For those of you who don't know, San Bernardino is about an hour outside of Los Angeles,
And his
California.
address is 59...
Don't send me fan mail. You gotta go through the pierceagnew.gmail.com/organ donor/
homeless minorities.
homeless minorities .org.
Send him furry fan art.
Yeah. So speaking of apartments.com, actually incredibly helpful when you're moving across the country because it lets you see places instead of crossing the country to go see them. But I obviously did that anyways. So it's a struggle trying to get a new place. I did not realize because I'm moving from Tallahassee, which is a college town where they require no credit checks or rental history for you to move into a place. Now I'm getting my finances looked at. I have to present income, pay stubs, my rental history. I have to show that I have good credit. It's exhausting. I actually did apply to one place we're hoping to hear back from in the following 2 days, but it is quite a struggle.
Holy shit.
I went from the almost adult side where it's a playful medium to the very adult where everyone just talks about taxes.
It's just dark. Just renting a place. That's scary.
Yeah, they charge you like $30 for the possibility of living with
They
them.
refund that, though, right?
No, they don't refund the 30.
If you don't get the place?
No. Pay them like $30 so that they'll look through all your background information to see if they'll rent to you. It's incredible.
Oh, wow. See, I just went to Craigslist and I found a roommate and I'm like, good enough.
Oh, I guess, yeah, you did that in California. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how I moved out to California. I tried apartments.com. I just found some really crappy apartments where I was going to live. And then I just looked on Craigslist and I talked to my roommate, Megan, and I was like, you seem like a not murderer.
Wait. Does Megan have an episode? Do we plug in an episode for her?
Oh, no, not yet.
No, we don't have.
Megan will be on episode 12.
Reference episode 12. Go
Probably.
listen to that
Megan
one.
will return in the Avengers 14.
Have you guys seen the new Avengers movie?
Yeah.
You
That was
mean
good.
The Captain America one? Let's get our stuff straight.
Yeah, I don't want to date this podcast, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. And that's all we'll say on the topic, because no spoilers.
No.
Spoilers.
By-
But I cannot believe...
I cannot believe Captain America was in the movie.
I can't
It
believe
was-
Jeff Goldblum made an appearance.
Jeff
Right
Goldblum.
there.
Jeff Goldblum.
Reprising
knew?
his role from The Fly.
He's actually the new Spider-Man.
That was the big reveal. You all thought it was that scrawny 15-year-old kid. Nah, Jeff
This is
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
A seasoned actor.
Who's older than the Aunt May.
That was maybe one of my biggest issues with the movie. Was I was like, I don't think Aunt May should be this. I felt uncomfortable how attractive Aunt May was.
So there's like a funny thing going around where
All right, one more
supposedly
thing because we can't buy too off topic.
the reason Aunt May is getting younger is because every movie that Ben dies in, she absorbs his life force.
Like in Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
Was
Doesn't
it?
happen in Dragon
You're
Ball
the
Z.
DBZ expert.
It is not something that happens in Dragon Ball Z. So
If you want to see why I hate weeboos, check out episode 4 with Vinny.
God, it says right here in chapter 14, Shimbuku absorbs the life energy of Hashimoto.
That's exactly how it sounds. That was the actual sound clip from that episode.
From that chapter in the book.
From
You just-
that chapter in the manga.
It's like one of those cards.
Manga.
Yeah, it was an audio manga.
So anyways, Jean-Claude, you said that you were living with your mother in Tampa right now, which is the ideal moving to new place situation, because I hate when people are hating on like moving back in with your parents. It's such a good starting point for
Yeah.
being an almost adult. Like how much do you have to spend on food?
Oh man, hardly anything.
Nothing. Next to nothing. How much do you have to spend on rent?
Oh, nothing at all. It's great.
Nothing. Do you guys hear that? That's Jean-Claude swimming in cash.
I wasn't knocking it, but yeah, it's an ideal situation.
There's such a bad stigma with living with your parents that I don't understand why people are like, yeah, as soon as you get out of college, you need to get a job immediately. If you don't have a job within a month, you're a failure.
Well, no, I think the idea there is, A, those people may think that living with their parents after college is almost a step backwards.
Right.
And B, there's always the kind of feeling of these people that move back home with their parents. There's a higher chance that, it'll take them a lot longer to get back onto their feet outside of living with their parents than if they just went straight from undergrad to living on their own.
Yeah, there's also this culture of kind of like you're a loser if you live with your parents. I've been trying to think of a movie reference. The only one I can think of was David Cross in Men in Black 2.
Timely.
Oh, or Step Brothers.
Oh, and Step Brothers.
In South America, it's actually really shocking if after university or during university, you're not living with your parents. Everyone there lives with their parents because it's just economically not smart to live on your own when you go to college.
No, it's not at all. I mean, especially like when you say South America, I think like Rio, where like there's just giant stacks of like houses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's physically not a lot of room. It costs so much more. It's just easier to live with your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah. I mean, literally the biggest concern or the biggest trouble that I had moving back home was finding a way to masturbate. That was about it.
That's definitely the biggest drawback.
You gotta be sneaky about it, son. You gotta move like a ninja, move like the knight, like Leonardo and Raphael and Donatello and Michelangelo.
Exactly. I have to masturbate like a turtle.
Sponsored by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows.
Jerking in the shadows.
Jerking in the shadows.
See, but you do have to have like a big bulletin board with everyone's schedules on it and be like, okay, mom's out at this time, dad's out at this time. The mailman comes here, so I can't be whacking it now.
Mm-hmm. God forbid they have to come back up because they forgot their cell phone.
Does the mailman come in our house nowadays?
Maybe, hey, I don't know. Maybe you got to plan that out. If you're
Maybe he drops the mail through the little mail hole and he looks through and sees you with your boy out.
Maybe he goes peekaboo every time he drops mail in.
Peekaboo, mail call. Ooh, I see you have your penis out.
Ooh, I see. Don't mind me.
I'm just gonna take mine out. All right, and there we are.
Do whatever you want. I'm just the mailman. I work for the government.
Yeah, that's never happened to you guys? Is that not a normal thing in your guys' household in California?
We don't have a mail slot, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. They're trying to go through the keyholes, but
they're just so pent up.
They're just so pent up.
I wonder how you get in a relationship when you're a mailman. You go from house to house seeing all these different people and you're like, you know what? I get out a lot, but I do have to deliver mail to you.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what the fuck?
No, I'm thinking of like mailmen trying to like date women who they deliver mail to.
I actually read a study about this. Mailmen just don't date in their zip code. It's really simple.
Oh, well, that shows you how much I know about dating.
And mailmen.
And mailmen.
So, Jean-Claude,
Yes.
back to the topic of moving to new places. Now, when you're moving to a new place, what is like the one thing that you're like, I need this? I can't live in a place that doesn't have blank.
Let's see. I need a coffee maker.
Yes.
Because coffee maker is like the one thing that kind of reminds me of home, like good coffee. So if I have that, then I can wake up in the morning and feel kind of at home already. Let's see. What else would I need?
For me, it's good internet.
Yeah.
If the place does not have good internet, I cannot work or function.
Yeah, that's true. It has to be a happy medium between, it can't be too dead, but it also
Can't be too, like, popping.
too party all the time. And I'd actually prefer the former. I'd rather it be too dead than be a party all the time, obviously. But so that's another thing. Peace and quiet sometimes, and some coffee, and I should be okay anywhere I go.
Ooh, that sounds nice, getting some coffee right about now.
Yeah.
You had like 4 cups today.
I've had 2 cups today, okay?
They were big cups.
How about you? What do you need?
Yeah, what do you need, Pierce? What do you need? In
Gage definitely hit it on the dot. I need the internet, like just very strong internet. I love doing like online gaming, and at my most recent place, you know when that old saying that absence makes the heart grow fonder?
Yes.
Yes, that's included with internet because at the place I am leaving, where I used to live, had the worst internet.
Oh no.
It was very hard to even download things. You know, I love playing like online games. I'm really excited about Overwatch. Overwatch coming out this June.
Actually, let me back up here for just a second, Pierce. Pierce, how much of the internet do you use for actual business?
A little background, before I got hired by Amazon, I worked for Florida State as a teacher's assistant. So I worked for the managerial department where I did research on unions and different schools' master's programs in union relationships. When I had that job, I would use the internet all the time for researching.
But couldn't you do that at like a library or something? Or on your phone?
See, my thing is I have a dual monitor computer, which once you have a dual monitor computer, you can't do anything else. It's just so nice. You put one thing on one screen and you have everything else on the other. It's glorious.
Yep, that's what I'm working with right now, and it is very nice.
Yeah, so
I just have a dinky laptop for right now.
Yeah, you haven't tasted what it
you haven't
what it could
tasted
be.
that two monitor glory.
The DM, the double monitor.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously I can't take my PC everywhere, but I look for a place with internet. More recently, I've been looking for an apartment complex that's like pretty close to like a gym because
True.
I enjoy doing exercise things, another very adult thing. So I've been finding that probably the hardest thing about keeping constant with like exercising is just not being close to a gym. If you're in a gym, you feel obligated at that point to do something.
Two things I want to say about that. One, the apartment we decided on, there's a giant field next to it.
Like soccer field.
Like a soccer field. So, like, you have plenty of space to run around. The world is your gym. Second of all...
I like how
It's
you
not a
say,
dog.
yeah, like run around. It's like great green pastures.
Run around like a dog. Maybe
Just
throw
let
a
you out every
ball.
morning. You can go take a poop
You
right
can
on the
play
lawn there.
dead.
Miles of grasslands.
So, two things I'll tack on as well to my list that you kind of sparked in my mind. I would like if the apartment that I live in has like a big kitchen.
Ooh.
Because like
Ooh.
things that I hate is like being cramped in terms of like, oh, I don't have room to put this bowl if I'm cooking here. I like a big kitchen, that'd be nice. As well as a washer and dryer that's pretty good. A shitty washer and dryer just makes everything worse.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
The dishwasher.
That too.
Because you want something that you can just cleans the dishes. You never have to worry about that. In my old place, you have a dishwasher. Then I'm like, maybe it's clean, or maybe there's still peanut butter on it. Who knows?
Yeah, that was mine as well.
I'm worried though, because right now I feel like we're getting into the too much of the adult side. Because we just talked about how much we love dishwashers and washing
I know,
and
that's
drying
pretty
machines and the
adulty.
quality.
Yeah, on a previous podcast, make sure to check out Snapchat support.
Oh god. Yeah, living with Carlos, he had a pet peeve of mine because I drank so much coffee. I ended up, and I still do that now. It's a problem. I leave like coffee cups all around the house. But he never pre-washed the dishes before he put it into the dishwasher. And since it wasn't a good dishwasher, if you just put anything with even just a little bit of pasta on it, it would come out with that pasta on it.
Oh, no.
See,
that was-
that's a tragedy. Because I think we've been spoiled as American children by having good dishwashers in our houses. We
Us
don't know that-
middle-class children.
all us middle-class children don't understand that not all dishwashers are created equal.
Nope. Some of them, you start it up and then you open it back up and there's a cockroach in there. Who knows? It's like a mystery
did that
box.
really happen to you?
Yeah. I don't know how it
Jeez.
survived, but it was there.
I'm just imagining from the cockroach's perspective. He's like in like a Herman Melville, Moby Dick novel
Oh,
where he's
fuck
just
yeah.
surfing on like one of the plates.
Or like Life of Pi movie where it's just like tidal waves crashing down. He's trying to survive on a raft.
He's in a tiny little raft with a tiny cockroach tiger.
Cockroach tiger.
I don't know what that
Parker.
Oh, Richard Parker.
Yeah.
That was in the movie.
Oh, I have not seen Life of Pi.
Oh, that was from an animation. I can't remember who did the animation. Who did the animation?
It was Rubber Ross.
Oh, right.
But no, Richard Parker is actually the name of the tiger from the book and movie, so not necessarily from that animation.
Rah, rah, rah,
But that's what you're talking
tiger.
about, where he's like a green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Rubber Ross.
Rah, rah. And it's just a volleyball,
Yep.
and he's holding it up
on
like
a stick
rah, rah,
in front of a
rah,
green
tiger.
screen. That's Rubber Ross.
Oh, Richard Parker. Great guy. If you want to see Rubber Ross, go to episode 35.
That's gonna be a great episode.
We'll
Quite the
reach
episode.
episode like 33, and we're like, we gotta get Ross on the show. We promise the people.
See, now I feel like I should just be making just ridiculous promises that you guys have to keep in the future. Like, please tune in on episode 72 when we talk to Tom Hanks and
Jesus
a
Christ.
shoe
And the resurrected Robin Williams all at the same time.
and an exclusive peek at Norma the North 2, starring the superstar Rob Schneider.
Oh god.
Rob
He
Schneider.
gets so
huge superstar.
Huge.
In his newest movie, Rob Schneider is a famous person. Zing.
Who's also a carrot.
Who's also,
Hey, we're trying to get Rob Schneider on the podcast. We can't bad to mouth him.
okay. I think he went on a Game Grumps episode or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
told you that on a podcast.
Did you? Okay,
Yes.
reference back to
That's like
whatever
one
that
of the
was.
two podcasts I've listened to. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I can't remember if this is something that I watched on YouTube or something that you told me.
I'm basically YouTube at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, hey, Jean-Claude, want to know all the YouTube gossip? Blah.
Which one of these should we cover next?
Oh, well, all two of them look very intriguing.
Ooh.
Let's do adult friendships first, because I think our other topic is stronger, and I want to finish off strong.
Damn.
So,
Okay, so clarify what you mean by the topic of adult friendships.
All right, so it's the idea of making friends while you're an adult because, and I got this from like a comic or something, but when you're a kid, it's like, hey, you want to be my friend? And they're like, sure, because no one knows how to be an asshole yet. Meanwhile, as an adult, it's like, oh God, I don't know. We like sit next to each other in these cubicles. I guess we're like close acquaintances at this point. It's kind of tackling that idea of how do you make friends as an old person.
I see that.
And especially during college and high school, you're just like, yeah, I'm around these people all the time, so eventually they'll become my friends. But even at work, you're like, I work with these people, and they're not all ideal, so maybe they could be my friend?
My first experience with that side of adulthood was actually, it wasn't me that was having to deal with adult friends. I actually visited my sister and her husband in Kentucky, and it was my niece's first birthday, and they had invited over some friends, quote-unquote friends, to the birthday party to celebrate. And
Wait, the daughter's friends or their friends?
their friends supposedly. But
Allegedly.
their friends had kids, so it ended up being the situation where it was like them bringing over their kids to hang out with their kids. Okay, well, that's a weird sentence.
Kids hanging out with kids.
Kids hanging out with kids. So the kids were being friends because, like you said, they didn't know how to be assholes yet. So they're just playing around, doing whatever. Gabby didn't even freaking know that it was her birthday. She's too young. And then the adults just kind of standing around, having a beer, like, oh, you remember that at work? Oh, yeah. That was a good, nice experiment that you ran there, blah, blah, blah. It was just super awkward. And they invited these people over out of what I assume is obligation. It was weird.
I have two things to say about that. One, isn't it always weird when you're like, I'm going to take a chance on this person, and this person is going to be my friend, and then you talk to them and you realize you have, like, nothing in common.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
that one thing. You're like, yeah, are you seeing the new movie? And they're like, yeah, I like that movie, yeah. And that's it.
You kind of build up an image of what you assume this person would be like as your friend in your mind, and then when you actually
you're
hang
like,
out with them,
oh,
it
this
does
person
not live
likes
up
all
to
the
that.
same stuff I do, right? They have to.
And then they don't.
The other thing is, isn't it funny when parents try to, like, make their kids be friends because they really like their parent? And they're like, you two should be friends because we hang out all the time and we really like each other.
And I think that's totally acceptable because kids don't know any better. It's like, they're like, all right, fine. You know, the parents, if you have a parent who has found someone they like hanging out with, that's a little bit more difficult for them.
Yeah. More likely situation is that your kids are going to be in like kindergarten and they're going to make friends and then they're going to want to have a play date. So you have to hang out with that kid's parents. You may not like those kids' parents.
Yeah, you want to get your kid to hanging out with other kids whose parents you like.
No,
And-
well, I feel like the opposite of the situation. That's been true for me. I remember a few times during my childhood where, like, my parents hung out with, like, these people, and I'm like, ugh, I don't really have anything in common with these guys. And we just kind of sat around, and I'm like, so, have you seen the new Pokemon episode? They're like, no, I don't do that. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, well, that was my whole childhood right there, so you can, yeah.
Just toss that out the window.
So, toss that out.
Well, this is just burn it.
Just burn.
I'm just burning this conversation. I'm
Mom,
leaving.
Dad, I have a stomachache. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm
and then you
fucking
light a
out.
match and drop it on the ground.
Yeah. I actually lucked out in terms of being friends with Alex. Like, my mom likes his parents and his parents like my mom. And I like Alex, and Alex likes me, so it worked out, and that was very serendipitous.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. I don't know why Gage is complaining about this because
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's something that happens.
our parents like got to be really good friends with like one of our best friends, John, aka the Johnny B.
The Johnny B.
They are big fans, big friends with his parents.
Oh yeah, we lucked out with that because
So it's almost like it seems like almost just like a mix and match kind of thing. The parents just try to figure out, okay, when me and the kids are both satisfied with our playdate partners.
Yeah.
and then he found $20.
And the moral of this story is look both ways before you cross the street.
Yes.
Sponsored by Jeff Goldblum
And the Animaniac.
and the Animaniacs, which is probably voiced by Jeff Goldblum.
I don't even know what I'm going to do when my kids make friends with other kids. Because I've stopped watching TV pretty recently. Like, I watch things on the internet and stuff like that. That's about it. So I don't expect myself.
Real quick before you continue, why are you guys thinking about kids? I mean, you both are like in your early 20s. You shouldn't be thinking about this right now.
I don't know. I've thought about things at one point, and these are just the thoughts that have retained in my mind. I don't know.
Every person has thought about at one point or another whether or not they were going to have kids. Now, this could be during just a hypothetical talk like such, or it could be during a pregnancy scare. So, you know, tomato, tomato.
And there you go.
I suppose, yeah. I don't know. You guys seem to have put a lot of thought in this, and I'm like, I didn't think about this at all.
I don't know. I get super jacked when I think about being a dad because I'm just like, oh my God. Everyone's
Best
always like,
dad.
I'm going to be the best parent ever. My kid's going to be the shit. And then it never works out.
For me, I think it's just
Just tell your kid that
making the
soap is a
tooth
myth.
fairy just incredibly scary. First off, like, I would have the kid only, like, they wouldn't put their teeth under the pillow, like, every time their teeth fell out. They have to save it till Halloween, because that's the only time that the tooth fairy will accept their sacrifice. And
Damn.
so then they put it under their pillow and they go to sleep on Halloween, you know, eventually, because they're going to be full of candy. And in the morning they wake up and there's just written on like their mirror, like, he accepted your sacrifice.
Oh my god, and then there's
See
just
you
a horse
again
head.
next year. And, you know, and then they'll be like, you know, then he finds a $20 bill.
Oh snap. Damn, a pentagram just kind of on the ground with some like smoke and ash around
And fairy
where the
dust.
tooth was.
It's going to be great, you know? The kid's going to think that's a totally normal thing, too. It's like, hey, have you collected your teeth for the year? And, you know, kids are going to be like, what?
Are you preparing for the harvest?
I am terrified with you as a parent. As the uncle of these children, I would just be like, yeah, he's full of baloney, guys. Just don't listen to him. Don't listen to crazy Daddy Pierce.
And they'd be all like, shut the fuck up, Uncle Gage. Our papa told us you were crazy.
And I'd be like...
You don't even believe in the tooth harvest.
Oh god, the tooth
And I'd be
harvest.
like, well, guys, stop inviting me over to your house then, okay? It's simple as that. And they're like, no, we love to kick your shins.
Oh my god.
Gage,
Damn.
for some reason, thinks my children will be little terrors. They won't.
You're forming them into being little terrorists. You're saying, oh, they're going to harvest stuff for the sacrifice. Well, they'll shape out to be okay.
Okay, that is obviously going against pagans. Okay, not all pagans are terrors, alright, man?
I thought this was a safe space. I was told that before I came onto this podcast. My agent specifically said, you can talk about the tooth harvest without being discriminated against.
Gage, you're gonna
You just admitted that it was an entire fabrication that you made up. So I don't see why you're so upset about this.
Is it made up if I believe it in my heart of hearts?
Yes!
In my soul of souls?
Yes!
If I believe in the heart of the cards?
Yes! Well, no.
Yeah, let's hope that we have that kind of hologram technology when we have kids, and then my kid can be the real Yugi Moto or Seto Kaiba, one of those.
You know, I love everyone's done this who's a fan of like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! He's like, oh man, what if I lived in the world of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! I would be the greatest trainer. But like in actuality, most of us would be bug catchers and like that guy who loses in the first round of like Battle
Oh
City.
yeah.
Like,
or
you-
like
we'd
we
be
wouldn't
horrible.
even like be on a Pokemon journey. We'd just be one of those people in the background that's like, I'm just a doctor. So speaking of Pokemon, selling Pokemon off to people, Pokemon's a piece of art, and selling Pokemon is a business. Segue.
Okay. I didn't know if you were offering to sell me Pokemon. I was like,
No, I was just trying to create the most chaotic transition.
chaotic way. All right, no, we're there. We're there. Okay. For those who are not able to keep up with this very sophisticated Iliad-esque metaphors, we're switching topics to business versus art.
Pierce is a businessman, and I'm an artistic guy. What happens when we move together in the same house for 17 years?
You both end up on a podcast. End of the episode.
No, don't end the episode.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So keep going.
Don't you dare end the episode in front of the almost adult audience.
We haven't even plugged in our last Jeff Goldblum mention.
Yes.
Yeah, we still gotta do that.
Back on topic. Business versus art. Apparently, when you're marketing art, people don't usually have that kind of smarts. They're like, okay, well, I made this, now what? They have a hard time finding an agent or a distributor. And on the other end of that spectrum, when you do business and you're like, hey, I got an idea, let's make Batman v Superman. You don't really know how to make that, and you hire Zack Snyder.
Really? Wow. I was told that this wouldn't be mentioned. Okay. Wow.
Damn. So I actually have an example of failure between the two. I go to, which I feel like I've referenced pretty often across these podcasts, that I've gone to conventions and stuff like that along with Alex Sierra.
If you haven't heard this story, please turn in to episode 2.
He's doing lies. Tune into the bonus episode.
We went to a convention recently during the holidays, and there's always this section of the convention where there's local artists that come and they try and sell their artwork while they're there, which is a really good idea because those are the kind of people that it's going to buy your weird hentai.
Oh, yes.
Of course, yeah.
I need something in my bathroom.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's this one artist who had a really great product. She had meticulously drawn and created 52 cards for a playing deck of Avatar: The Last Airbender cards.
Cool.
And obviously the 4 nations were the 4 suits, and each one of the different cards and stuff like that were a different character, and the different tribes, suits, or the nations had their own iconic characters. Like Aang, the Avatar, was part of the Air Nation, Korra was part of the Water Nation. Anyways, it was very, very cool, and the artwork was great, but we could notice from what she was saying that she wasn't selling a lot of the trading cards, playing cards. What I want to say the reason is that she was charging $52 or $50 for each deck, which ended up being about like $1 per card, which if you give it a cursory kind of look, kind of makes sense. But it was kind of a failure in terms of the marketing perspective, because what I was thinking over the fact on how could she make more sales, once you've made all 52 cards, you don't have to make any more art. So your job's kind of done.
You just template that.
Right, so she could have made a lot more money. I wasn't willing to pay $50. So she was expecting to make money over like the 3 or 4 people that were going to actually pay the $50 for the deck. A smarter theory would be to go for quantity, a larger quantity of people for a cheaper price. So if she sold each deck, let's say each deck costs like $5 to make and produce in mass. If she sold them for $15, which is a price that I would totally pay for something like that, then she's making a $10 profit for every deck that she sells, which she can then go back and spend and create even more, which she can then spend, and I think she would make a lot more money than selling 4 decks for $50 each or something like that.
And that's an interesting story, because you can definitely see a person who has that kind of artistic drive, and obviously, as you were saying, created something really amazing. But the big problem was that she didn't understand her audience, and she didn't understand how to better value it, so the audience that she was trying to hit. Because let's be real, people who like Avatar: The Last Airbender, not a lot of them don't have $50 that they're like, I'm going to spend this on a box of playing cards. Just have to find the right one. No, it's just kind of trying to understand your market right there. But I guess I'm the more business side of this argument. Is this an argument? I'm not quite sure if this is an argument.
It's a hypothetical.
Okay.
Kind of seeing your perspectives on it.
I got my degree in business management, and then I got my master's in business administration. So I really like the business side of things. And I find it something that's needed almost every day, because one of the biggest things that they tell you in business school is that no matter what you're doing, you have to sell something. If you're applying for a job, you have to sell yourself as that person that they want. If you're making art, you have to be able to figure out how to sell and market that. You need to know these basics of business, or you need to get someone who partners up with you. A little bit of history right here. You guys know who Michael Eisner is?
Yes, he was the CEO of Disney, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And he was a creative genius. He was the guy who kind of helped bring Disney out of its dark ages into this kind of
Renaissance.
Getting into the movies and getting into TV and stuff. The interesting thing about that they didn't talk about is the president at the time, who someone's going to look this up and I might be wrong, but I believe his name was Wells. So Michael Eisner was this creative, artistic person, and Wells was the business smarts, the guy who could coordinate people and get things done. And Wells actually sadly died in a helicopter crash in the 90s. And that's kind of when Michael Eisner, I think 2 years later, lost his job, because he couldn't function without that business side. So based on our morality wheel right here, it kind of seems that for the artistic side to function, you need that business side to help you out. And if you want to be able to sell business-wise these great ideas, you need to have that artistic, creative talent behind it.
Yeah. I read this book recently. It was called The Power of Habit, and it was a business textbook that went into how some of the most successful products utilized making people habituated into using the products. I think that's one of the troubles with artwork. You can see how it works very well. People that watch animated TV shows, people that watch serialized television, that they become addicted because it's very habitual. Every Sunday they go and they tune in to watch Game of Thrones, and that's why it has such a huge following.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is on in 2 hours.
Yeah. And it just becomes a part of your daily week. And then when it kind of disappears for that year or whatever, you have a craving for it. So they've created this habit inside you. Other pieces of art where it's just like a picture that you look at is a little bit harder to sell, because there's no way to habitualize your actions around that. I don't know. It's a good book. So if you guys ever want to read The Power of Habit, it's a good business book.
If you guys ever want to read...
Oh, okay.
Reading. I'm going to stop you right there. Don't want to read.
Oh, God. Okay. It's a good book.
Yeah, maybe I'll pick it up and skim.
Do it.
The bold words.
The bold words.
Bolds and italicized, and that's about it.
I'll look at the glossary at the back of the book.
Read the back of the book and then don't buy it at Barnes & Noble.
They love it when you do that.
I know.
They applaud you as you leave.
They also love it when you go into their cafe and you set up your computer, use their electricity, and you don't buy a single thing.
Has that ever happened to you before? You just went into a coffee shop and just started working?
Oh, I did that all the time. That's how I studied for like the MCAT and stuff like that. I'd go into Barnes & Noble and just study there without doing a thing. I'd buy like a coffee every once in a while. But...
Oh, no, that's what I did. I just buy coffee and I'm like, it's a business. Speaking of business, all I wanted to say on that was business is nothing if you have nothing to sell. Sort of what Pierce is saying. If you have nothing to sell, then what good is your business skill? If you have artistic skill and no reason to market that, then there's no point in that. So they kind of coexist with each other. I know that's sort of repetitive of me to say, but I feel like it needs to be emphasized.
You're summarizing pretty much everything that we covered.
Oh my God, just give me a break, guys. Okay?
What? I'm not faulting you. I'm just saying you're wrapping up what we said in a nice little bow.
Oh yeah.
You piece of shit.
Yo, when you were talking about the going to places just to study, I figured out the other day, this was actually like a month ago, but we're going to say it's the other day, I figured out how great libraries are. For those of you who don't know, these are public buildings that hold these things called books. And you can go in, and for a small yearly fee, you can borrow as many of these books as you would like.
Dude, libraries are the shit.
Yeah. Well, I figured out how great they were because I was visiting some friends in Orlando, and my problem was my friend didn't get off work for another 5 hours. So I had no idea what I was going to do, and I just ended up at a library. And I figured out that they had a graphic novel section of this library, in which I spent the greatest 4 hours that I have ever spent in a library reading Deadpool comics and Wolverine comics.
Nice.
So if you ever want to read a comic, but you don't like spending money, visit your local library, because they probably have it.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was worried that I was going to not bring any information or fun facts to this. I feel like this has just gone very educationally.
It has.
Yeah.
I feel like, the wheel of Animaniacs has brought some nice little insights to this episode.
The wheel of morality.
Mm-hmm.
Let's spin it one more time in our porta potty. I'm unwrapping it like a fortune cookie.
Wow.
Okay. I was very impressed
When
with that
you're handsome, you will go places.
Oh.
But when you are ugly on the inside, you'll go nowhere.
Oh.
Oh.
So if you have a nice personality and you're just a crazy good looking.
Fucking gorgeous. Hashtag Jeff Goldblum.
Hashtag Jeff.
Hashtag Jeff Cole. All right, let's do final thoughts. Pierce, what are your final thoughts?
Oh man, should have been ready for this. Wow, I just really want to thank Jeff Goldblum for the opportunity for me coming on here. It's been really great talking with you guys and talking about Jeff Goldblum. And if I had to thank one person for where I am today,
Would it be Jeff Goldblum?
I was going to say Rosie O'Donnell, but yeah, Jeff Goldblum did a pretty good job too.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Concluding thoughts, Jean-Claude.
For anyone trying to sell something, if you can find a way to incorporate that into the everyday lives of your purchaser, you will go far.
And Gage, his final thoughts. Drink lots of coffee, because if you don't, you won't be a proper businessman. Eventually, you'll just kind of grow a suit on you if you drink enough black coffee.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the episode. Thanks for having you on, Pierce. Oh,
Oh my God, Pierce, that was the worst fart.
that was great. That was like a spray fart. Very nice.
That was the explosive diarrhea.
From the
I thought
coffee.
it'd be easier. Jean-Claude, you make it seem so easy.
Oh, thanks, man. I don't
We
know.
haven't done that in a while.
I know. I tried after the Rice Pirate episode. I tried to classy it up a bit, but I'm glad Pierce brought it back. I considered it. I definitely did, but I was like,